coming your way, left of screen, Nico Hülkenberg, Carlos Sainz in the middle, and Lewis Hamilton right of screen. Now, Nico, can we start with you, and can we start with a clarification? When are the celebrations? The statisticians don't agree when your 250th race is going to be. Is it this weekend? Is it next weekend?
You tell me, Tom, whenever you want. When do you want it to be?
I've asked you the question, so should we say it's this weekend? When are you celebrating?
It's, I think celebrating a race weekend, tough. Maybe Sunday night, hopefully Sunday night next weekend. But looks like it's next weekend.
Why?
What? Why?
Why is there a doubt?
No, it's just it would be a few races I did but didn't start the race, so it's yeah, 3 or 4. So
wind the clock back, Nico, to 2010. When you started out on this journey, could you have imagined 250 races?
Yes and no. I think it's something, as a driver, you don't really think about so much. You just race. You live in the present. You do your best. You keep grinding. You keep showing up. And, it was good fun. I would do it all over again. Obviously, good days and bad days. But all in all, a great industry to be in, worked with a lot of great people, made friends, and still enjoying myself.
Best season?
This one, of course.
Well, can we elaborate on that? Just let's talk about 2025 and the way the team has sort of ramped up as the season's gone on. How satisfying has that been?
Yeah, it's been also, with ups and downs, obviously, as usually for every kind of, midfield team has those swings. We started on the back foot, not in the best position, then recovered since from Barcelona onwards, turned things around, got a grip on the season, obviously put in a few nice highlights, a few big results for us. Yeah, and all in all, I think good progress. You feel like something is growing and cooking in the background. But as a team, I think we've really, connected and improved on many areas, many things. Obviously, always more to improve, more to work on. But it's been enjoyable, and I look forward to the next 12 months.
How has that progress you talk about changed the vibe inside the team?
Yeah, the vibe's good. Obviously, when you have results, when you racing for points, you're battling. It's a different feeling. Everyone is obviously happy and engaged, and it brings a certain vibe and environment. And I think you shouldn't forget where the team came from last year, which was obviously a very difficult season for them. And the team and we kind of worked our way out of that a little bit, digged ourselves out. Rewarded us with many strong races this year, and with a car that's competitive in the midfield for most of the season. So, yeah, we've come a long way, and need to keep doing what we're doing.
All right, thank you for that, Carlos. Let's come to you now. Another really strong weekend for you in Vegas. Given where you started that race, were you hoping for a little bit more come Saturday night?
No, not really. I think starting from P3, from a crazy qualifying, I think the moment the race is going to be dry, the normal thing is to go backwards, especially if the top cars are starting next to you, which was the case. I think in Baku, I was starting P2, but the McLarens, the Mercedes and the Ferraris were not even in Q3, or they were towards the back end of Q3. And some crashed, some had their issues, and in Baku, I could hold on to the podium, but in Vegas, they were starting too close to me. They had 2 to 4 space advantage, and over 50 laps, that's a lot of seconds of race time that they're going to catch at some point. No? So, no, I was quite happy with the race. I think the second midfield car was quite far behind, so I think we did everything we could to get the maximum points for the team that race.
You've spoken in the past about Qatar being potentially a difficult weekend. Why?
Well, it's just that speed range where every track we go to, we're the lowest on those sort of corners. No, it's 150 to 200 kph, medium speed, high speed corners, 4th, 5th, 6th gear. That every track we go to, we see the GPS data, and we are where we tend to be one of the slowest cars or one of the slowest teams. And in Qatar, you only have those corners. So unless we come up with something magical in terms of setup that switches the car on for these kind of corners that we cannot switch on in other tracks, I'm afraid it's going to be one of the most difficult weekends of the season. Having said that, I think it's a great opportunity for the team and for myself to learn why are we weak in these kind of corners, why our car doesn't like these kind of corners, and still try to execute a good weekend in a difficult track.
Last one from me. Can we just get your reflections on year one at Williams? Have you exceeded your pre-season expectations?
It's a difficult question. I think expectations are always high, but going into this year, I tried to keep them in check, knowing it was going to be a difficult year for me, coming obviously from a top team, getting to get back in the midfield and not knowing exactly what kind of car Williams was going to deliver for this year. But honestly speaking, I think if you would have told me when I signed my Williams contract back in the summer of 2024 that this year there will be a podium, 15 the constructors, which we're trying to seal soon, only a couple of tenths of the top teams in a lot of tracks, another podium in the sprint, plenty of points for both Alex and me, I think I would have signed even quicker. So I think it's a good first year, not perfect, because we've gone through, like every midfield team, through a lot of ups and downs. I've had to readapt myself back to maybe racing a bit more in the midfield, and for sure it hasn't been a perfect year, but we've had a lot of good highlights and a lot of good moments and better moments that I would have probably even dreamed or wished for.
Thank you, Carlos. And Lewis, can we continue this theme with you? How do you look back on your first season with Ferrari?
I don't. Just look forwards.
Can we just talk about it a little bit in terms of...
There's not really much to say. The results have shown there's some positives to take from it, and you just move forwards.
What positives can you take from this season?
Gelled in the team, and there's amazing passion within the team, and just good focus on for next year.
What's the biggest thing you've learned in the last 12 months or so? Just rebounding, just getting back up. Can we reflect very quickly on something you said after the race on Saturday evening in Vegas about not looking forward to next season? You've had a few days to reflect. The adrenaline is no longer in your body. Just do you still feel the same way now?
Well, I think probably at this, I'll be surprised if the other drivers are excited about next year at the end of a season, because you usually don't have a lot of energy at the end of a season. You're looking forward to time with family and stuff. So that's really, but I mean, look, that's just in the heat of frustration. Often there's a lot of frustration at the end of races, particularly when they haven't gone well. So no, I'm excited to see what the team build next year and to continue to build on with them.
And if the car performs better at these final couple of race weekends, will that change your outlook?
No.
Okay. What's possible, do you think, in Qatar this weekend?
I don't know. I think the car should be pretty decent in the areas that Carlos was mentioning. In terms of speed profile, I think our car should be pretty good in those areas. So might be hard to keep up with the Red Bull, but I'm hoping for a better weekend.
All right. Good luck with that. Thank you very much. Right, let's open this to the floor. We will start with the broadcasters and David Croft.
Yeah, David Croft, Sky Sports F1. Drivers meeting tonight discussing driving standards guidelines as we have three hugely experienced drivers with us, one of whom celebrates his 250th Grand Prix start next week. What would you like to see change in those driving standards guidelines that isn't quite right at the moment?
Who'd like to start with that?
There's a lot of thought going on here.
Carlos, go on.
I'll go. GPDA. I think first we need to sit together, analyze quite a few of the incidents that I think there's been quite a lot of division in opinion between drivers, FIA, stewards, just different ways to judge different incidents. I think this year there's been quite a bit of confusion regarding a few of them. I think we need to sit together and go through them and analyze them calmly, out of a heat of the moment, like we are now on a Thursday before a race, and try to all hopefully come up with a better solution for the future. My personal opinion, and here I'm not talking from GPDA perspective, I'm just talking as Carlos Sainz, is that there is potential to do better, and I think the guidelines themselves have created more problems than solutions to a lot of issues that have happened this year in the ways we judge incidents, and there's been barely any room for racing incidents this year. There's always been either white or black because we've been supported by the guidelines, and the guidelines haven't allowed racing incidents to be judged as racing incidents, because there was always a tire in front or behind a mirror, or a tire in front or behind a front or rear tire, whatever their guidelines say, that I don't know them by heart. And yeah, for me, it's been in that sense, a bit of not successful implementation of those guidelines. But that's what we need to discuss. That's what we need to sit together and see if there's any other solution.
Lewis, Nico?
You answered it well.
No more? Okay. Carlos, you're the spokesperson. All right, next one, please.
Rui Chagas for DAZN Portugal. Question for Nico. Nico, we had 3 rookies here just before you, and I think it's unanimous that they always say that they learn with their teammate and so on. Have you learned anything with Gabi, as he's a rookie as well, or has he helped pushing you throughout the season?
Absolutely. I mean, being a rookie doesn't mean you can't perform or, you don't know how to drive. I mean, we're rookies at one point, and everyone's, you got to start at one point in F1. And for sure, on Gabi's been very impressive on the driving side, driving inputs, driving techniques as well, something that he's really strong at. So, to be honest, many points this year where, I learned from him, and we bounce off each other from looking at each other's data, and just absolutely yes.
Thank you. Next.
Tom Slafer for DAZN Spain. Question for Carlos. Carlos, this weekend we have this limit of tire usage, which basically makes it, the race a 2-stopper, which is something that Formula One is investigating to put in the future for all the races. You can give me your opinion or GPDA's, whatever you prefer. What do you make of this system?
I think it's a temporary thing, this 25-lap limit here only for Qatar. I don't think it would work in the future to put a forced 2-stop limit. I've seen some comments saying that I think the races are the best when you have a variety of strategy and it's between a 1 and a 2 or between a 2 and a 3, but it's never when it's a forced 2-stop like we saw in Monaco or like we saw in here, I think a few years ago when it was almost like a 3-stopper or a 4-stopper mandated, because if the end everyone has the same deck, the same tires, it's not like you can do much with flexibility, and I think that the future solution of F1 is having more of a variety of strategies that can work rather than a mandated number of stops. So, but I think for here it's just purely reliability, and we will see.
Thanks for that. Mara?
Mara San Giorgio for Sky Sports F1 Italy. A question for Lewis. I was looking at the standing, and you and Kimi are very close. You know him, you work with him. How do you see him? How do you see his progress as an opponent this year?
Kimi?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't worked with Kimi, but I'm enjoying watching him grow as a man and as a driver, and I think he's done an amazing job this year. And I think particularly in the second half of the season, he's really stepped it up. So I'm really happy to see that, and we have a great relationship.
Thank you. Any more from the... Yep. Sure, at the front.
Hello, Panos Etianidis from Antenna TV Greece. A question for all three. We have in 2 turns ahead a dawn of a new era for Formula One. I know you don't have crystal balls, but what is your gut feeling about where your teams will be next year?
Lewis?
I don't have a gut feeling. I don't know. No one knows.
No one knows. I have a good feeling, but no one knows.
Yeah, gut feelings are not worth that much. Hopefully a bit, stronger than what we are now, but